years when you've been angry, like you're angry about everything. Do you remember 3 years ago when we went on vacation? Do you remember that time? Do you remember that? Do you remember last week you promised you were going to pick that out for me? Do you remember that? And do you remember when our child was born? I mean, it's like, you just go back, and you just go back, and you just start digging. You just go back, and you just...
It was that long ago that you would treat me that way and speak to me that way, for me to have it burned into my mind.
Remember why I yelled at you?
No.
Because I can't imagine why. I don't remember the situation, so...
I remember you being miserable to me. Miserable.
You remember it that way, Henry. That doesn't mean that I was.
If that's my memory, then something happened.
Examples of emotional reasoning are, I feel scared, so I must be in danger. Or I feel guilty, so I must have done something wrong. But sometimes these are just free-floating emotions that pop into your mind, triggered by an unconscious thought based on something from the past. If that's the case, you can misinterpret your current situation based on an emotion that's unrelated.
And they'll tell the story of that past. And in psychology, the latest research on memory shows that 50% of that story isn't even the truth.
It was that long ago that you would treat me that way and speak to me that way, for me to have it burned into my mind.
Remember why I yelled at you?
No.
Because I can't imagine why. I don't remember the situation, so...
I remember you being miserable to me. Miserable.
You remember it that way, Henry. That doesn't mean that I was.
If that's my memory, then something happened.
Seeking help made him realize his natural tendency toward anger and how it used to drive him. He once shared with The Guardian in 2018 about channeling this emotion, describing it as a volcanic energy that could both fuel and destroy. Over time, he learned and to let go of judgments and arguments.
Because if it's not T-Rex that's chasing you, but it's your coworker in the next cubicle, what was once very adaptive becomes very maladaptive. And the rush of those adrenal hormones become kind of addictive to people. And they use the problems, they use the conditions in their life to reaffirm their addiction to that emotion. They need their enemy to feel hatred. And if their enemy died, they'd still feel hatred, or they'd find another one. They need the bad relationship, they need the bad job in order to feel, and that's why it's hard to change.
You would treat me that way and speak to me that way and just discard people. It was so long ago. For me to have it burned into my mind.
To think of people with BPD as emotional burn victims. Any slight is incredibly painful, and it's really hard for us to get over it.
It was that long ago that you would treat me that way and speak to me that way and just discard people. It was so long ago.
Borderline clients perceive or experience emotional situations, including conflicts and other relational situations, more intensely than non-clients. What's happening here is that borderline clients might not necessarily be more emotionally reactive, but rather perceive situations as more threatening or distressing. So it might be a matter of perception as opposed to emotional reactivity. Now, this is an important finding, of course, because affective instability, that emotional reactivity component, is a crucial symptom criterion for borderline personality disorder.
It was that long ago that you would treat me that way and speak to me that way, for me to have it burned into my mind.
Remember why I yelled at you?
No.
Because I can't imagine why. I don't remember the situation, so...
I remember you being miserable to me. Miserable.
You remember it that way, Henry. That doesn't mean that I was.
If that's my memory, then something happened. If that's my memory, then something happened.
What do you mean, if that's your memory, then something happened?
That something happened to make me think that way.
So you're saying that there's no way you could have misunderstood or perceived the situation incorrectly?
day after day, month after month.
Is that that's not a possibility in your mind? You could have thought that I had some miserable feelings toward
borderline personality disorder. There may be some type of impairment in recognizing facial expressions correctly, and this might lead to some of the problems with interpersonal relationships. Now, we know from the research that this idea is generally supported. We've identified deficits in recognizing neutral and ambiguous facial expressions with individuals with borderline personality disorder. We also see that many articles have this element of bias indicated as well, and particularly a negative bias. So it's not just an inability to recognize the facial expressions, it's adding something negative into those facial expressions that wasn't actually there. There is evidence that suggests that this deficit in recognizing facial expressions associated with borderline personality disorder is for all of the facial expressions. Although some articles indicate that this impairment seems to be especially evident for anger and disgust. So how can we apply the findings from the study? How is this useful in the world of mental health treatment? Well, the findings from this study really tell us that individuals with borderline personality disorder, when they're in an argument with another individual, may have a compromised ability to detect signals that the other individual is trying to end the argument, like signals of cooperation, for example. So when an argument would naturally have less intensity, when it would be dissolving, that individual with borderline personality disorder wouldn't be able to see those signals and therefore wouldn't respond in a way to help that argument to end. So here we may see one piece of the puzzle that helps explain this relationship between borderline personality disorder and difficulty with interpersonal relationships.
So if we're born with this predisposition to being sensitive, paired then with this overly seeing the negative things in our lives, so whether that's because we're anxious or other factors, and then thirdly, paired with our lack of effective strategies to deal with negative acts, could all bleed into causing an individual to then have affective instability.
That I understand PDA as well is a great gift. If you don't understand why something's triggering you, you can end up blaming it on other things. I might blame somebody else for how they've made me feel, whereas now I might understand that I'm not feeling bad because of what the other person said. I'm feeling bad because of my nervous system and how I react to it. So it's not actually their fault.
I remember you being miserable to me. Miserable.
You remember it that way, Henry. That doesn't mean that I was.
I like to think of people with BPD as emotional burn victims. Any slight is incredibly painful, and it's really hard for us to get over it.
Whenever you think of something sad, try and think about the joy that's in it, you know? Like right now, we're underneath the stars. Most people don't get to see this anymore.
It's like the prophet. The joy and the sorrow. I'm tired. I'm gonna go to bed. Do you actually like the prophet?
What?
The book. The prophet.
Yeah. What about it?
Have you even read it?
No.
So this was about a book. It started off about a book. It's not about a book. Well then, what is it about then? You told me it was your favorite book. You said...
When did I say that?
I said it was my favorite book. I said the hot neighbor loved it. And then you said... What?
That, yeah, I mean, yeah, and that's probably why. I don't like that guy. I don't like how he flirts with you. I don't understand that. So I said that it's just a book.
So you lied.
Yeah, I lied. I don't think it warrants this kind of reaction.
I thought that was why we matched, because it's our favorite book.
You think an international spy agency put us together because we like the same book?
No.
Like it's OK Cupid or something?
Okay. No,
Like,
I'm
mean?
wrong. I'm wrong because I actually have never seen you read a book in the entire time I've known you, so makes sense.
I know you, Jane, and you're very calculated about how you put things. So if you want to call me stupid, just call me
I'm not
stupid and
calling
we can
you
have a
stupid.
conversation
No, I'm not
about it.
calling you stupid. I'm just saying you don't read books, which is true.
Yo, can we just please go to sleep? All right, we can argue about books in the morning, all right?
Yeah, I'm tired. It's been teaching me all day like I'm your student, so.
I've been trying to share things with you. We were doing things together. I was showing
it was
you.
pretty condescending and controlling, so.
I'm condescending and controlling?
Yeah.
Jane, you don't even let me eat you out without telling me how to do it.
I have to
every
tell
fucking
you how to
time.
do it,
Like
you-
I've never seen a fucking vagina
You don't
before.
know how I like it, so I have to tell you how
Every
to do
fucking
it.
time?
If you learned and listened, maybe I wouldn't have to fucking
This
say
is
how to
classic
lick my
Jane.
pussy.
I have to emasculate you so I feel worth it.
I have to teach you everything because you don't know how to do
You don't
a
have
lot
to
of
teach
things.
me shit.
You act
You're
like a
sitting
baby.
underneath a shelter I made. I made this fire. I got you this fish.
food, fire, water.
Fuck you.
Nice.
Why are you like this? Why do you do that? I just don't get it.
I just have deeper priorities.
You have deeper priorities?
Yeah, you don't have the capacity to understand
Just
it.
shut
so.
up. You're always trying to make
Shut
somebody
up.
feel stupid.
Shut up. Fuck you. Is that how your mom taught you how to talk to women?
You're obsessed with my mom.
Wait. Okay, you're
Not
saying
me.
I'm obsessed with your mom? You call her 5 times a day. It's a little unhealthy, and it's
Oh,
You need
like
boundaries,
the boundaries thing?
yeah. You need
That's
them.
the whitest thing that you always like.
what a
and you-
fucking cool
like, you don't
dick.
even know what that means. Her husband died. I'm the man in her life. I take care of her because I came out of her. What did you do for your dad when your mom died, other than not talk to him ever again? She's a good mother. You wouldn't know anything about that because you're too busy gallivanting around with a fucking cat. So don't talk about her. Don't fucking bring her up every time we have a disagreement because you don't understand feelings. You don't know what it's like to care about somebody. You just pretend and fucking robotic mimic everything somebody else does. I don't know if you're on the spectrum or what, but it's fucking weird, and all you do is make other people feel bad for feeling shit. You said it yourself. You wouldn't be a good mom. So don't come here and talk that shit to me.
We already failed this fucking mission anyway.
Who is your emergency contact?
What?
Who is your emergency contact?
My mom.
You're mine. Our boss was unhappy, to say the least. I have a thought.
Are you ever able to take
Okay, so I struggle to understand and interpret your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. You say something, and I therefore misunderstand or misinterpret your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. I potentially interpret them as negative or critical or a personal attack. I react to that attack by launching a counterattack. And if you're anything like me, my counterattacks are hardcore. There will be no survivors. As a result of all this, the neurotypical person is now completely confused and potentially upset. This experience is damaging to the relationship. And as it occurs over time, repeatedly, the relationship is broken.